In every human being, there is a hidden river, unseen but always flowing. Carl Jung called this force psychic energy. It is the invisible fuel that powers your thoughts, shapes your desires, animates your emotions, and forms the foundation of your very self. Like electricity in a darkened room, it illuminates the inner world. It is not physical, yet it moves the body. It is not material, yet it creates every feeling you've ever known. But here lies the truth. Psychic energy is not limitless. It has a cost, and most people are spending it, wasting it, without ever knowing what it truly is or how sacred it can be. We often imagine exhaustion as something that comes from doing too much. But Jung understood something deeper. Sometimes exhaustion comes from being too much, too emotionally available, too responsible for other people's feelings, too afraid to say no, too willing to give parts of yourself away to people who never asked for your soul but took it anyway. And in this quiet war of silent expectations and unseen demands, we bleed psychic energy. Day by day, moment by moment, we give more than we realize and receive less than we need. This is not love. This is not compassion. This is not strength. This is overgiving, a psychological pattern born from trauma, reinforced by culture, and hidden behind the mask of virtue. But overgiving is not giving at all. It is a slow form of self-erasure. It is the unconscious agreement to abandon yourself so that others might stay comfortable. It is the willingness to drown in order to keep others afloat. And in time, it becomes your identity. The one who helps, the one who fixes, the one who listens, even when no one listens back. But Jung warned us, the psyche is not passive. It remembers every sacrifice, every swallowed truth, every unmet need, every time you said, "I'm fine," when you were breaking inside. These moments accumulate in the shadow, and the shadow does not forget. When we ignore it, it doesn't disappear. It grows. It steals your energy, hijacks your emotions, and manifests through anxiety, depression, fatigue, and confusion. You begin to feel lost, not because you are weak, but because you have wandered too far from your own center. You have become everything to everyone, except yourself. This is the cost of psychic imbalance. When you spend too much energy outward, you leave nothing for the inner life. And without tending to the inner life, the outer world begins to collapse, subtly at first. Relationships feel hollow. Achievements feel empty. You're surrounded by people, but you feel invisible. You're praised for being strong, but all you want is to rest. This is the paradox of overgiving. The more you give from a place of depletion, the more invisible you become. You begin to feel like a ghost in your own story. And yet, this is not the end. This collapse is not a failure. It is a signal, a whisper from the unconscious, calling you back to yourself. Because Jung believed in a process more powerful than any pathology, individuation. The slow, painful, sacred return to wholeness. The journey inward, where the fragments of the self begin to reunite, where the roles we played fall away, where the masks we wore are gently removed, where we stop asking, "Who do they want me to be?" and finally ask, "Who am I really?" Individuation is not self-improvement. It is not about becoming better. It is about becoming more you. It is about reclaiming the parts of yourself you exiled in the name of acceptance, the voice you silenced to keep the peace, the anger you buried to stay lovable, the joy you postponed because duty always came first. It is about confronting your patterns, not to punish yourself, but to liberate yourself, to see that overgiving was never love. It was a strategy, a survival tactic, a desperate attempt to feel worthy in a world that taught you love must be earned. But true love, Jung insisted, begins within. You cannot be truly emotionally available to others if you are emotionally unavailable to yourself. You cannot meet others where they are if you have abandoned where you are. Emotional availability is not just a skill. It is a relationship with your own psyche. It is knowing your needs, honoring your limits, and speaking your truth. Not because you want to control others, but because you no longer want to betray yourself. To do this, you must turn inward. You must sit in the silence you've avoided. You must face the loneliness you've numbed. You must listen to the whispers beneath your anxiety. The body always tells the truth. Fatigue is not always physical. Sometimes it is the weight of carrying too many emotional debts. Sometimes it is the exhaustion of pretending. Sometimes it is the scream of the soul begging you to come home. Coming home to yourself means setting boundaries, not as walls, but as rituals of respect. It means saying no without guilt, because your yes now has meaning. It means choosing rest over performance, solitude over noise, truth over approval. And in this sacred defiance, you begin to gather energy. You stop leaking, you stop pleasing, you start living, not for others, not for validation, but for your own integration. Jung believed that each of us carries a blueprint for wholeness, but this blueprint does not unfold on its own. It requires effort, honesty, grief, and responsibility. You must descend into the underworld of your psyche. You must meet the archetypes within you, the wounded child, the hero, the victim, the shadow. You must understand the myths you've been living. Were you raised to be the good one, the strong one, the fixer? These stories gave you safety, but they also stole your freedom. And individuation is the radical act of rewriting the story, of saying, I am not here to be consumed. I am not here to be good. I am here to be whole. Wholeness includes contradiction. It includes anger and love, sadness and joy, strength and softness. You do not have to choose between being kind and having boundaries, between being available and being sovereign, between caring and conserving. You can be both, because psychic energy is not about suppression. It's about direction. It's about aligning your energy with what is true. The more you align with truth, the more energy returns to you. The more you express your real emotions, the less they control you. The more you listen to your body, the less it needs to scream. And in this unfolding, something miraculous happens. You begin to change not just how you feel, but how others feel around you. You are no longer a rescuer. You are a mirror, a permission slip, a reminder that being human is not about perfection. It is about presence. Presence is the rarest form of currency. And when you stop overgiving, you become present. You feel life again. You see beauty again. You stop waiting for someone else to save you, and you become your own sanctuary. You sit with your pain, not to wallow in it, but to understand it. You sit with your joy, not to perform it, but to feel it. You begin to trust yourself, not because you have all the answers, but because you are finally listening. This is psychic sovereignty. It is not selfish. It is sacred. Because when you honor your energy, you teach others to do the same. You break generational patterns. You end emotional codependency. You create relationships rooted in choice, not obligation. Love becomes spacious. Giving becomes genuine. And your life, your one brief, sacred life, becomes your own again. The world does not need more burnt-out empaths. It does not need more self-sacrificing martyrs. It needs integrated souls, people who have walked through the fire of their own psyche and returned with wisdom. People who understand that compassion must include the self, that healing is not something you give away, it's something you embody. And so, if you find yourself tired, not just physically, but existentially, pause, breathe, reflect. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply awakening to the truth. You cannot pour from a fractured vessel. You cannot offer light if your flame is gone. You cannot love truly if you are constantly abandoning the one person you'll never lose, yourself. Let that exhaustion become your turning point. Let it guide you home. And when you arrive, greet every piece of yourself, the tired one, the hurt one, the forgotten one. Tell them, you are welcome here. You are not a burden. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are whole, even in your healing. You are sacred, even in your stillness. And from this place, from this depth of reclaimed energy and reawakened selfhood, you will rise, not as a performer, not as a pleaser, but as a person finally, truly, beautifully alive.